Do you consider yourself a woke person? You are awake from the matrix. You're no longer a sheep. You are one of the chosen ones. You are a star seed. I don't know what label or how you identify yourself in your spiritual awakening, but I want to bring something to your attention. Something that happened to me along this journey, and that is confusion. I got a lot of confusion because there are all these teachings that are trying to help us step away from the grind that it is just pushing hard, right? Without that alignment that one finds when one finds spirituality. So for a long time, I have been overindulging in the alignment part of manifestation, because there are so many teachings out there that are really trying to reprogram our brain to not be in that hustle mentality, because hustle culture, it is damaging for us. So all these teachings are like really trying to make us step away from it. But if we are not responsible with those teachings, then we end up where I ended up. I ended up dependent on others. I ended up unable to find ways to survive on my own. I found myself not developing any real life skill, how to take care of myself. And it's been 5 years since I found spirituality. A long time ago, I woke up from the notion that I had to do things a certain way, and I started studying on my own. I went for careers that people usually go to school for, and I did it on my own, and then I got the job without any experience. And I did that because I guess I was consistent, and because I knew how to interview for the job. I prepared myself, and then I went and got those jobs, even though I didn't actually have any formal training. Obviously, I battled some demons along the way with the help of my family too. My ex-husband was always telling me, if you only knew how much you know, that compared to the people that went to school and are working doing that, like you are ready, like I had pep talks. And so I overcame those things, and I went for it, and I did it. But then after I became a mom, I got tired of that hustle culture, and I found spirituality. Spirituality came to give me the missing piece of the puzzle that put it all together. I have been doing it wrong all this time. Now, it's not that I don't only have to follow the typical path that is get married, have children, and blah blah. No, now it's that I don't even have to follow the typical the typical way people work and do their survival. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have my own business. And I said, I'm going to do tarot readings for people, because I remember that one tarot reader opened my eyes, gave me so much clarity, and it helped me so much get out of a slump, because I couldn't understand what was happening, what was wrong with me. But then this tarot reader helped me overcome something that was very emotional, and because of the understanding that I gained from this reading, I fell in love with the craft, the art of reading cards, and I decided to go for it. I quit my job. I decided to just stay home with my baby and learn the tarot. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years, almost 6. Just studying and overindulging in the finding alignment, in the following my heart, my intuition. And with all these teachings out there about you feminine energy or the lucky girl syndrome and all these things, yeah, those were really, really helpful. Those really helped me to reprogram my brain. But I wasn't responsible enough to also understand that just because something was feeling really good doesn't mean that that was the answer 100%. Comfort, it's very addictive. And so I know that it has happened to a lot of you because I have read for people and coached people that are in this situation. They they finally wake up from that need to please others, right? They find it that they don't need to be people pleasers. They find it that they don't have to live for others. They get to choose themselves. They are not selfish. They're just choosing themselves, you know. And it's what it's called the selfish era, and like a lot of people are going through the selfish era. And in that place, we start getting very confused, and we stop understanding that everything is part of a balance. We kind of go overcorrecting on the other side, and we overindulge in our comfort, and we forget that the grind is part of life, is part of our survival skills, right? The grind, the grind, if we want to put a positive light on the grind is nothing but service, how to be of service to others. And it is as equally as important as choosing ourselves. So part of choosing ourselves is choosing to be a part of society, part of the world, doing our part to be of service. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people start getting very confused about that, and it happened to me too. I got lost thinking that things were not in alignment for me to do because I wasn't comfortable yet doing it. It wasn't in alignment for me because I wasn't comfortable doing it yet. And that was a big mistake that I made because I wasted years of my life and resources waiting for things to just happen, because we are magical beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, but all these things that we keep telling ourselves to justify not working, okay? Not working on developing our skills. Like, for example, these 5 years, oh yeah, you bet, I've been studying the tarot, I've been practicing, I have been of service to other people. But I didn't really follow through with the skills that I need in order to market myself, for example. I never really kept up with my social media. Like, I started, and then I don't really know how to give a clear message yet, because I always prefer to have the person in front of me, because the person in front of me at least gives me instant feedback, and I understand the situation, and I understand how to help them. But yeah, somehow doing it online, it just feels too hard. It feels like the advice I'm giving is too general, and I criticize it too much, and that is what really stopped me from doing it all these years, because I didn't really spend any time developing that skill on how to do it properly, how to do it fluidly, and how to actually not care, right? That it will be misunderstood by some people, and it will not be applied correctly for the people that are not ready. I was too concerned with all those details, and I kept waiting and waiting for the time in which I would be ready. And the time never came, because I never actually did it. I never actually did the work. I never actually put the effort into that consistency that would help me to become good at it, right? So yeah, I am making this video because I want to encourage you to pay attention. If that's you, if you find yourself, if you find yourself that you are waiting for the time to be right to take action, then the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. For some people, the time is to actually do the inner work, But if you have been doing inner work for a long time, then you need to stop. You need to stop and accept that some things are okay. And you need to accept that you can still take action, because that is part of the healing process. Taking action is part of the healing process. Okay? Part of the clarity that we need to get sometimes comes only after we took action. So this is for the people that have been doing the inner work for a long time, and you feel like you're getting nowhere. You're feeling restless, you are running out of resources, you are becoming dependent, you are actually not really anymore helping yourself, you're not developing yourself in a real way. You keep growing your inner world, and you have a rich inner world, you have a rich understanding of yourself, of your boundaries, but somehow you are glamorizing the fact that you ended up alone. And that learned helplessness, it's not the vibe anymore. It's just not the vibe. You need to get with the reality of the yin and the yang. And just because the yin feels hard doesn't mean it's out of alignment. Okay? And for the ones that are super focused on the yin, which is the masculine energy, which is the doing, the grind, the effort, for the ones over identified with that, you need to slow down, and you need to take your time to understand your inner world, because that is the very first step of manifesting anything that you want. The very first step is to be in a good relationship with yourself. But if you have done that, like I said, this message is mainly for the people that have done that and that have been doing that for years. Usually happens. Like, I have seen and I have heard many people talk about how they are usually 4 to 5 years in their journey before they actually go, bam, I got it. It's when they finally understand that balance, that need for that balance, right? We overcorrect, but then we have to come back to reality, because we are also part of this reality, and we need to take responsibility for ourselves, not just the part that feels good about choosing ourselves, just not the part that feels good. We need to learn what it really means to choose ourselves, because it's not just the part that feels good, it's the part that also feels really, really uncomfortable, because only when you are uncomfortable, it means that you're growing. And it doesn't mean that you always need to be growing, right? There's a time for rest and a time for doing things and growing. And I'm just saying, if you have been overthinking taking action, well, this is a good invitation. This is your call to action, because you do not want to end up years and years and years later still with the same life, still feeling stuck. Imagine that you are reading a book about your life. How interesting is it? What actually are you doing that makes your book interesting? That makes your sitcom or whatever movie, however you want to picture it, your life, how interesting it actually is. Pay attention. And if you find it that it's not that interesting because you don't do much, then you really, really need to pay attention to that. So yeah, this is me realizing that if I don't ever start, then I will never get anywhere. At the risk of sounding trite, every journey of 1,000 steps starts with 1 step or something like that. The point is, you gotta start. And I am obviously not going to just wither and die. I have seen many people in my family not empower themselves. And now I understand why. It's really, really hard. Especially after you've been overindulging in your comfort, like I said, for years. It's really, really hard to start. But it is very important to start. It is very much what I tell everybody that I read tarot for, everybody that I coach. It's just that up until now I didn't really have to, so I didn't really realize it's not until people I depend on start changing the game on me that I go, oh, wait a minute. I just realized that I have no power here. I gave all my power away because I have been stuck in trying to find alignment before I take any action. So the time is now for me, and I am here to share my journey, and I hope that you get inspired by what I said here and that you take action yourself. All right, I think that's it for today. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.